So I think the first thing we want is just kind of a little bit of background on like what the festival or the competition is in general, and how you came to like know about it.
Okay, so the Montclair University, they run a French Day for high school students. The idea is to expose them to different cultural topics, and the workshops are 100% in French. So the students come away with not just great, listening practice for them, but a lot of cultural knowledge. So that's the first half of the Montclair French Day. And then the second half in the afternoon, they have this little film ceremony, a film festival, I suppose. So it's based on what's called a tableau vivant, which means a living picture. So you have to choose a French artist, French painting by the artist. So we chose one by Caillebotte, who's from the Impressionist era, and it's called Rainy Day in Paris. And so we imagine the students, my students, they had to imagine a dialogue. What was taking place, what was going on in that picture.
I think it was just like an everyday interaction. We just were hungry, looking for a place to eat, and we didn't have any money until we finally found some.
I was like a criminal, or like someone that was like being investigated for like suspicious activity.
Me and her, we were like together, like we were out on like a little stroll, and then she was supposed to be.
I was the ex-boyfriend of her. And I saw
and
the new
we
boyfriend,
got jealous.
and
it was a fight.
We got into a fight.
We were both detectives, and like Krish was like the person we were like chasing after. So like, there was like a scene where like he had to run and he was just hitting a little jog. It was funny.
I think it's especially funny because I was actually there. I was just leaving a coffee shop with my friend, and I saw you guys filming, and the whole Denville Runners Club was always getting in your shot. So they were probably like, "Who's this kid on his like low key like terrible jog?" Very slow, this child. Very slow.
So they wrote the dialogue in class, and we rehearsed it, and they had to learn their lines. And then the last part was for us to step up and ask TV production if they could help us. Then Ollie was great and came and filmed us, one morning in Denville. So she put the whole thing together. We had the vision, I suppose, and she put it together for us.
Well, I first got, so I'm in TV3, so then I got Nichols asked me one day, he was like, hey, Al, do you wanna do this film thing? So then I was like, okay, sure. And then I got into correspondence with Madame, and then editing it, that was more on the easy. Well, so in the script, it had like specific like, oh, she walks this way, and then the other person from another scene passes this way. But we didn't actually film any of that because people kept leaving right after their scenes were filmed. So, and then I had to kind of like invent the transitions on that. But then I got it done. I was like.
It's judged by the professors at Montclair French department. Lo and behold, they liked it.
What do you attribute that to? Because you saw the top 3, right? So
yes.
If you think about like your approach, why do you think it was successful?
I think it was a combination. I think the picture that we chose, we had who you see in the foreground of the picture, who you see in the middle ground, and who you see in the background. We had a variety of different scenarios that were possibly taking place. So I think it was because of the variety. I think we used a good vocabulary. I think the students spoke well enough that they could be understood. I think that's important too, because if you can't be understood, then you're not getting the message across. And I think I'm going to attribute also a part of our success to Ollie, because I think that she captured very well the way that we put the actual painting, the way it was put together. I think everybody just, it helped a lot, and, it came together very well.
I think me and then Alex, we were the only 2 people who thought we got first place. We were like, no, we got this. Like, because the other ones weren't like, we didn't think they were as good as ours, but everyone else was like, oh, you should say whatever.
I think like before we started, like even doing it, we low-key thought we were gonna lose. But once we got there and all the other names were getting called, then we thought we were gonna win.
So we're going for back-to-back wins next year. What's the game plan?
Yes, the future French 4 class has to step up next year. That's the plan. This is going to become a tradition. I also should mention that Par High was also there, and that's Par High got second, we got first, and that's all that counts.
Advice to next year's crew, because Madame says they're going to do it again next year, and that you've kind of set the bar. So like if you're giving advice for like the new squad rolling up, what are we telling them?
Memorize the lines.
Yeah.
And expect greatness, right? Because you guys set the bar, so we're looking for back-to-backs now.
Yeah, definitely.
And don't let who win.
Par high. Do not let the high.